Yeah, man. But I mean, I just suck it, Jason. But also, you guys watch it. Don't suck it unless you like it. But what's up? We're back. It's Tvshka and Josh.
Me.
Yeah, you are
What
Josh,
is?
man. And how is Josh?
I'm good. And I keep going through this fantasy season with realizing that when you have multiple fantasy teams, it's hard to keep up with. Because this is the second time that I started Jalen Waddle when he was either hurt or now he's on a bye. And I swear to you, I thought I took him out and put in someone else, but apparently I did not. So I would be if I was Premier League manager, I would be shocked, as someone would say. But therefore, I am not, because I paid to be in this league and they don't pay me.
Verily.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel your pain, man. Zach Moss, that motherfucker. I thought I had switched him out. I know I was waiting on a trade to go through, and then I was also hoping and praying to the gods that Nico Collins was going to have a miraculous comeback so I could put him in. Thought about putting in Njoku. I've never flexed a tight end, and this was the weekend I should have done it. And with it being that freaking European game in Germany, by the time I looked at my phone, the game had started. I was like, crap, well, let's pray for a miracle. And 0.2 points, man. 0.2 points. But anyways, we'll get to that.
Speaking about the Germany game, one of my buddies was talking about how there was just a random assortment of people wearing random NFL jerseys, like in the stands. And I was like, well, the last time the Germans all collectively wore the same uniform, it wasn't really nice. Good look. So,
history.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, God, overall, I know for us, a little bit of a rough weekend. But for a lot of people, man, I mean, there's just kind of a low point weekend, unless you got kickers. I mean, the kickers showed up and they kicked it out of the park and won some games. Some of those late finishes, which we'll get to in our wild card. But yeah, man, I mean, anything else before we jump into some broke asses?
No. But when you go up against a 170, I got to coach my defense better. If I'm letting my opponent score 170, I got to coach better. That's on me.
Yeah, seriously, man. Like, what are you, the Denver Broncos? Come on, man.
No, they're doing pretty well right now, actually.
Yeah, tonight, which they shouldn't be. Come on, Bills. Give me some goddamn points, bro. Yeah. I have 4 Bills players playing.
And none of them is named Dalton Kincaid?
No, I do have Dalton Kincaid. So I do have 12 points from him.
Right.
Diggs, 4 points. Gabe Davis, 4 points as well. Actually, Gabe Davis has more points than Diggs. And then the other defense, 2 points. It's just like, okay, well, it was nice while it lasted. Congratulations, Jason.
It's time for us to have a discussion about Josh Allen.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I guess I should have just went this Texans route and got all their wide receivers.
They're a tank.
Man,
except for Nico Collins didn't play. That was fun.
Yeah, well, he's one of our injured people. So you want to jump on into the injuries, brother?
Yeah. So Nico Collins is still held out. He was a late scratch. I think Thursday? They finally announced that he was not going to play. I believe he's basically week to week at this point. As far as Nico is concerned, I haven't seen any other updates on that. Baker got banged up late in the game. But they are saying that he's going to be good to go Sunday, but they're playing the Niners, so take it what you will on that. Alexander Mattison got a concussion. The Vikings now signed the gas man, Myles Gaskin, because Cam Akers tore his other Achilles a couple weeks ago. So they signed Myles Gaskin. So they're like the Baltimore Ravens of old, where they just keep losing running backs like one day after another. But Alexander's going to be back, but even though he's kind of underperformed on the year. Taylor Heineke suffered a hamstring injury, looks like we're going to be back to the Ritter Express, which means Ritter throws it in the dirt. I'm trying to figure out a nickname for him. Can't think of it. Deebo Samuel returned.
The shitter Ritter?
Yeah, there you go. Ritter the shitter. And then Deebo Samuel did return. So that's good. That's why they look good again. I'm just saying. When Brock Purdy has his weapons, he looks like, oh man, the second coming of everything. And Michael Thomas got arrested for getting into it with the construction workers, but didn't he play Sunday? I didn't keep up with it, but I thought he played. That was kind of weird. Ramondre Stevenson got banged up, but all the tests came back negative, so he's good there. And the last thing I have was Travis Kelce was shown kissing his girlfriend after a Taylor Swift concert. Why that's news, I don't know.
It's real, all right? It's not fake, guys. They're really in love.
Yeah.
And they're talking about marriage.
Yeah, Karma's the guy on the Chiefs or something like that. I don't. I'm still not in the. There's the circle. I'm out of it. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know that. Any other? But that's kind of it as far as like big. I mean, other than there were some defensive players that got hurt, but obviously it really doesn't affect fantasy wise. So that's why I only told that because Quan Alexander, big up to him. He has suffered a season-ending injury there for the Steelers. I did see that. So that's what I've got for injuries.
Yeah, well, and kind of comment on that. I mean, key defensive players getting injured could make an impact. Not necessarily maybe on the defense that you're trying to play, but maybe on the defense you're trying to play against. You know, I mean, just as you know, you kind of target weak defenses. I mean, if you know, was it Quincy Williams? You know, with the Jets. I mean, if some key players get knocked out and that weakens that defense, it may be something of value. So never look past it. But Deebo Samuel, I know he can't really be in the running, but to me, he's the MVP of that team. So for anybody that's saying Brock Purdy should be MVP, y'all can suck it. Because if he's that much of an MVP, you should be able to play with one of the players, without one of the players, and still be successful. And clearly they cannot be successful without Deebo Samuel.
Yes, but Christian McCaffrey is a ridiculous. He's a wagon. I will say
right,
that.
But you know, but I mean,
but yeah, they just look way different when Deebo's when they got all the when they got all the dogs in the race, they tend to win. With that, Trent Williams also came back for them. They're big, Hall of Fame stud offensive lineman.
You baby, let's go.
Yeah, so that's a future Hall of Famer if I've ever seen one. But yeah,
well, he's also a giant. Awesome, man. Yeah, no, I like it, dude. Anything else before we jump into the top 10?
No, that's pretty much what I got, unless something crazy happens in this Monday night game, which I haven't seen. So,
good Lord, yeah,
it's pretty boring. Pretty boring stuff.
I mean, can we just stop doing the night games? Because this week they've all sucked. They really have. But anyways, who didn't suck and maybe possibly played on a night game? Was our top 10. Skipping the overall top 10, we'll go ahead and go to quarterbacks. I did not upload those, so don't worry about the line on the bottom. I'll just read them out, though. Your boy coming in at the top of the QBs, but Dak Prescott, 39 points, showing up again, this time getting 4 tutties. Quiet. Sorry, guys. I got alarms going off. You go ahead and read some of that. I got to double check this.
I got you. All right. So as we do this, I'll take over. Dak Prescott, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm not saying there I have a bias towards him, but I kind of do. He has 39 points. Justin Herbert, Jay Herbs, with 29. Josh Dobbs, who had a really cool TikTok, at 25. Sam Howell, 24. Sam Howell at the moon. Geno Smith, I'm glad he's on my bench. Again, just managerial stuff. We'll get over it. 24. Brock Purdy, again, Deebo Samuel's back. Therefore, Brock is back with 24. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, good at football. Got 22. And Jared Goff with 21. CJ Stroud, future MVP, with 20. Mm-hmm. And Baker, he's been pretty solid. Baker has, with 19 as far as that's concerned. So I'll flip it to you. Since I'll put the shoe on the other foot. So what stood out to you?
Besides my neighbor's alarm going off and freaking out the dogs. I mean, Baker been in the top 10, maybe 3 out of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
19 points, though, usually doesn't get you there.
No.
But whenever you have Lamar Jackson and others shitting the bed,
Trevor Lawrence
as far as fantasy points wise, that's what's going to kind of tilt that a little bit. You also had Jalen Hurts on bye week. You had
Tua
Tagovailoa on bye week, Patrick Mahomes on bye week. So a little bit of a mini BIPOC, but yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott is certainly back. And as long as they give it to CeeDee Lamb, they will do pretty much what they want at will. Of course, it is the New York Giants. So I believe they've been compared to a can of tomatoes.
I mean,
so
speaking about canned tomatoes, they got Vinny DeVito. He still lives with his parents, but he's a starting quarterback for the New York Giants.
Yeah, that's right. But Herbert, I mean, that was a good game. Was it like 38-41 was finished? But it was a final field goal at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're back, or maybe they're just having a good game against
it's
Detroit.
A different coach, same thing. It's even before Haley, I forget the coach's name off the top of my head. But before he even got there, the Lynn, the coach before, it was kind of the same thing of they would hang in games, but they just couldn't get over the hump. But that means that they've got a good roster. Austin Eckler is healthy, so that means that's why they're also being in games. Keenan Allen is having a renaissance year. He's been ridiculous this year.
Well, he's stayed healthy this year, so
that's the thing. He stayed healthy, it's kind of crazy. If only Mike Williams would ever stay healthy, we would really see the full repertoire of this team. But I don't know what it is about Lions going against AFC. They pulled it out, but they can't stop the AFC for some reason. I don't know. They did. Like I said, they took the only team that they got blown out by was the Ravens, and then so.
No, they've definitely done good. Geno Smith, crept back in. Josh Dobbs, dude. I mean, that's such a good story. So excited to kind of see that keep going on. But we're also going to keep going on with the running backs.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what happens whenever you draft somebody, number one, first round draft, and you give him the ball, he gets 28 points. Congratulations, Bijan Robinson. Is this his first time in the top 10?
It's Brian Robinson for the Washington.
That's Washington. Oh, my bad. Well, where's Bijan? Oh, that's right. Bijan is still not getting shit.
No, you just had to do that, didn't you?
Sorry. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. But yeah, Brian Robinson getting 28 points. And I wish, and I didn't get to see not Joe, but I didn't get to see Tyreek Hill in the top 10. So I'm kind of sad about that. So I did get one good joke in. But no, Josh Gibbs coming in second place with 26 points. Singletary, 23 points. Is that legit there in Houston or not? We'll see. But yeah, like I said, Eckler is back and in full form, 22 points, which is probably just going to be his average. Definitely not his ceiling. McCaffrey coming in, with 20 points right behind him. Then you got Kenneth Walker, third, baby. 20 points, man. Excited to see him back in there because I know he was kind of the rookie darling last year that we'd like to follow. Warren there with Pittsburgh coming at 19 points. Najee Harris, 19 points. Kamara, 19 points. And then Rashid White with 18 points, rounding out the running backs, man. What stands out? Of course, we got some bye weeks, so some people are missing, but yeah, man, what you got on this one?
Christian McCaffrey did all that, and he didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about it. Number one there. Jaylen Warren, I've been waiting for this to happen all damn season. They just kept trying to make Najee Harris happen. It's kind of like fetch. It's not going to happen. But the Steelers have a terrible offensive coordinator. Kenny Pickett's okay at best. But Jaylen Warren's been showing this all season when they give him the guy. It's like Bijan Robinson. He did get a touchdown within the 5-yard line, though. I will say that. I did see it. I was like, oh, my gosh, the Christmas miracle. Arthur Smith's pissed. Heineke probably called an audible in the pocket, kind of like in Varsity Blues, and Kilmer's like, keep it up, asshole, just to get him the touchdown. And so that's probably why Heineke got injured, because Arthur Smith was like, no, I don't want my good players getting touchdowns, so therefore, please, the other team go hurt them. Just joking on that. But yeah, no, Jahmyr Gibbs, it's kind of crazy when you give him the ball, but David Montgomery did have a 75-yard romp as well in that game. And Rashad White has been doing this for like 3 weeks straight. It's kind of crazy on that. But But yeah, no, it is nice to see two Pittsburgh running backs though have the same amount of points. That is kind of funny there. And Kamara has been pretty solid since he's gotten back. But yeah, Brian Robinson, he got shot last year. Now he's number 1 on the charts in Week 10.
That's right. Brian Poppinson.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Pew. But I mean, like, this is the second week we've had a team that has had 2 running backs in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe we're getting back to a little bit of older form because, at least some of the games I saw, it looked like hardly anybody could catch or pass a fucking ball. So, when that doesn't happen, hey, why don't you give it to a running back? That's what they're there for. Give them some of those yardage. I know my guy, he got a lot of touches, but didn't really get a whole lot of yardage. Talking about Josh Jacobs in last night's banger of a Sunday Night Football. But who did get a lot of touches and actually the top points total of the week? It's your boy Keenan Allen. What you're talking about, man. Keenan Allen coming with 41 points, topping the wide receivers and the overall top 10. Then CeeDee Lamb right behind with 40 points. Brian Cook getting 32, right? So
Brandon.
again, I mean, Brandon, sorry. Getting with the Cowboys as far as 2, not just in the top 10 of the wide receivers, but actually in the top 10 overall.
We'd be undefeated if we play the Giants every week.
Lord, right, man. At least you get to play him twice a year. But then Amon-Ra St. Brown coming to 31 points with the Detroit's good showing. Mike Evans at Tampa Bay, 26 points. Noah Brown with Houston getting 24 points. Jamar Chase, 23. Tyler Lockett, fresh off of a trade. Enjoy it. Congratulations, GIF. 23 points. But also thank you for Dawson. I do like that guy. And then Christian Olave, 21 points, and Boyd coming in with 20.
Yeah.
I kind of made a note of it. 5 of the overall top 10 were wide receivers. Are wide receivers taking over like some of the point totals?
Yeah, it's kind of the passing league. I mean, that's why you see a lot more receivers go earlier than they used to. There's a lot more of them, but they end up hitting the board pretty hard compared to there's just not as consistent scoring in running backs compared to where there's some of the receivers are, where there is a lot more receivers. And because there's one ball go around, there's 3 receivers. Sometimes you just don't know if they're going to hit the board, where typically the running back's going to get, 15, 20 carries a game, unless you have a coach like Arthur Smith for that. So, but I mean, yeah, when Dallas has beat the Giants for a combined 89-17 in 2 games, you typically are going to have some Dallas players up there, except for Tony Pollard. I don't know what the heck's going on with him. On that, I mean, Dowdle had more points than that happened. I probably should have denied your trade, that knowing that I've faced Tyler Lockett this week. So that's
so you're self-serving, Commissioner. Okay,
well,
gotcha.
I had Keenan Allen, so it's. I mean, it doesn't. Nothing was going to make a difference. What I did, 170 points is hard to overcome on that. So congratulations, Gift. Yay. On that, but Antonio St. Brown, I've been wanting him. St. Brown. I've been waiting for this all season. With 156 and 1 is ridiculous. 175 and 2 for Keenan Allen is kind of crazy. Jamar Chase, which the Houston Texans. Wow, I did not. I mean, there's always that one team that comes on that's a surprise one, but I was not expecting the Houston Texans to do this with CJ Stroud of all things. And I mean, the rumblings today is CJ Stroud for MVP. I mean, it's ridiculous in what he's doing, and he was making some crazy just plays. It's not like it's not like a Brock Purdy where he's just playing with inside the system. Like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Noah Brown. I mean, Dalton Schultz is a top tier tight end, but they don't have a superstar quote unquote receiver, and he's still going out there and doing that against the Bengals defense, who is pretty solid. on that. And and it's a defensive coach too, because typically defensive head coaches, their offense are kind of trash, and so it's just it's interesting to see. But if you had a top 10 wide receiver, congratulations. If you had two of them, even better. And if you went up against all of them, it felt like that I did. Congratulations to my opponent.
Yeah. Well, and you got the top one for sure. But going against Mike Evans and Noah Brown really hurt, especially Noah Brown, because those should have been Nico Collins points. But hey, injuries are injuries, and that's in the past because that was the previous segment. So we just got to move on, right? And we're going to move on to tight ends. I know you kind of hit on a few of them as far as your personal favorites, probably. Coming from the Dallas community. But, man, tight ends, Hawkinson coming in with the top of 30 points. McBride, welcome back to the top 10, 21 points. Kyler Murray is definitely, he looked good. He was in full form and definitely showed that he's probably still the fastest freaking quarterback in the league. George Kittle actually getting into the top, man. Good to see him actually get some of his roses, as well as 116 yards and one tutty.
He had a long one. He walked that one in.
Well, yeah. Whenever you have 3 receptions off 4 targets, you've got to have about an 80-yarder to really get that. Like you were kind of talking about a little bit, before, but Conklin getting 14 points, Ferguson there in Dallas getting 13, Njoku getting 12. Congratulations to my bench for those points. Schultz getting 11, like you were kind of mentioning, as far as kind of with that grouping. John Mayer. I'm just kidding.
You didn't like him.
Mayer of Las Vegas.
You weren't a fan of him last night when he took away Josh Jacobs' touchdown.
I was very pissed. How are you going to let the guy that got you there the whole way and then all of a sudden just give up on him and throw it to? It was a really good pass and catch.
Now you know what it feels like to be
but throw it to the tight end. Like, Devontae Adams didn't even get a touchdown, and he's been on a 5-week drought, dude. So come on, man, let's go, Vegas. Maybe you would have fared a little bit better in that match, but anyways, they did win, but 16 points, that wins the match. Lame. But he got 11 points for himself, and for nobody's team because he's on waivers. And then Wright coming out of Detroit. It's not Laporta Potty, but he definitely got some of Laporta Potty's points. He got 10 of those. And then Cole Kmet, which I know you're liking that 10 points you got from him, as long as you had him on starting.
Yeah. I had to find somebody because Goddard's done, so I had to find somebody. Anything else with tight ends? I know you kind of hit a little bit on them. Yeah.
But
the spy, or whatever you want to call him, the imposter that says he's a tight end but isn't a tight end, is finally not on here.
Right? And would you believe it? It was the week he got picked up.
Oh, no. I looked at waivers because I had to pick up a tight end. Yeah. And nope, not going to do it. I looked at the tight ends and I saw.
Not going to fall for that thirst trap.
I saw that imposter at the top, and then I saw Cole Kmet next under, and I said, no, sir. I will stick to my guns, even though this is BS, and it probably could have helped me out. But guess what? Cole Kmet outscored him. That's right, because you're an imposter, and you should be in the quarterback position. Okay? This is BS. I'm writing in 10. I'm like Cartman in Pandaverse. I'm writing in 10,000 letters to Sleeper.
Right.
This is not how it's supposed to happen. But no one's salty. Anyway.
No, not at all, man. Yeah.
And Tyler, TJ Hawkinson's been solid. It doesn't matter who his quarterback is. He's playing really well. McBride, they've been there's some the other fantasy gurus around town have been just all here in Nashville. That's it. On the internet, on the interwebs, we're big on McBride since Ertz has gone down, and doesn't matter. And Kyler Murray came back, and every time I see Kyler Murray run the ball, I just think of Mario when he gets a star.
Yeah.
And so every time you watch Kyler Murray and he does that, just think of that song in your head and laugh every time. Conklin's done this 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you all know, Ferguson's been solid. ever since he's gotten, and so is Njoku, Schultz. So if you own those guys, and Cole Kmet's fine. Hopefully Justin Fields gets back. I've yet to see any news. That's why I didn't put him in my notes up there. But Badgett, he does well for fantasy unless your name is DJ Moore. He doesn't realize he's on. Again, I don't know what it is about DJ Moore, but people forget that he's on their team on there. So, but that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah. Kind of jump back to Conklin.
Oh, and Dalton Kincaid would be in the top 10 already, just so you know.
I know. I was going to get to that. Thank you for stealing my thunder on it. But as I was saying, the Jets have looked decent. I mean, Garrett Wilson didn't really fare too well points-wise, but, I mean, they actually got some movement, but they're just making so many bad mistakes that are just killing their drives. They had a reverse with Wilson that would have gone for like 10 or 15 yards, gotten a first down, gotten them in the red zone. But then there was a holding penalty, and then that pushed him back. And then there was a drop pass right after that. And then it killed the drive. And, and killing drives kills momentum, and killing momentum, it really just kind of hurts that aspect. I mean, a little bit of not the 3D chess, but the kind of the mental game, because then, I mean, you get a lot of that moxie and that confidence with that momentum. So, it's just crazy to think that if they had Rodgers, they would definitely be a serious force to reckon with, and maybe one of the top AFC teams for sure.
Yeah.
But like you referred to Kincaid getting 14.48 points, I believe, 14.4. So that would put him a little bit above Conklin. So he'd be at the number 4 spot. I'm still happy about that trade because. Waller got injured, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
You never want somebody to stay sidelined, but Dawson Knox, you're good, man. Just stay.
Yeah.
Just
you're
take
good.
Your time. Just take your time.
Look for next year. Look to next year.
Yeah.
Because apparently this does not look like their year.
I 11th hour because T. Higgins ended up getting ruled out real quick, which he just got beat up. It wasn't any injury news because I just think he was a day-to-day. He actually put out a really funny TikTok of him just getting just hit left and right. It was a pretty funny one. But I don't know. I keep waving. But yeah, no. They're fine.
Waving right back at you.
But yeah, it was 11th hour thing. And I was like, I got to get a receiver. And because Jackson Smith and Jigba and like all these guys, like they weren't it. So I was like, ooh, Dalton Kincaid. Yes, I'll pick him up because he's been solid for 3 weeks. And Dawson Knox wasn't playing. And guess what? He's still solid.
Oh, yeah. No, he is solid. Take your time, Knox. But also hurry up, Waller. It'd be great to free up so I don't have 3 tight ends on my team right now. Kind of just looking at some of the stats, I do have 7 points now from the defense. Forced fumble and fumble recovery, baby. Let's go. We'd love to have that be a defensive touchdown. But also at the same time, I do want this to be a little bit competitive. So they're actually trying, for Diggs and Gabe Davis to get some touchdowns. But speaking of defenses, let's jump ahead. San Francisco 49ers. On offense and defense are back. They look like the team of the first 5 weeks. So maybe that, 3-4 week slump, maybe it's in the past. We'll see. But they come up with 22 points. And then you have the Indianapolis Colts coming in with 17 points. The Cleveland Browns, 15 points against that insane win against Baltimore. Tell the two halves for sure. Baltimore Ravens, right behind them with 14 points in that loss. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their win against the Tennessee Titans got 13 points. That thanks in large to 13 QB hits. Let's see, but 48 tackles. But really, 4 sacks and only 6 points allowed.
That's kind of what Tampa does. That's that old school Tom when Tom Brady was there. That's what they do. That's that Todd Bowles.
Yep, that's great. The New York Jets getting 10 points there. Wish they would have got a lot less. Vegas Raiders getting 9 points because that game was so exciting on Sunday night with the Jets. And the Minnesota Vikings coming in with 9 points. Houston Texans 9 points and Dallas Cowboys 8 points. But yeah, I mean, anything defensive wise, I mean, I know we always kind of, for the most part, you're streaming and you're looking at the matchups. Of course, now you're really looking at bye weeks. Like I had to pick up the Bills for this week because the Chiefs were out. So if you guys want a good defense and the Buffalo Bills, they just got a forced fumble. They're going to get so much more. Put in your trade right now. Let me hurry up and accept it so you don't see the final. But yeah, what you got, bud?
I mean, it's kind of going back to what you said. Just think of the Jets if they had Aaron Rodgers, because this defense is legit.
Yep.
I mean, they are legit. They are in every game because their defense is so good. And they just are. And Zach Wilson just isn't it. It's nothing against him. Just the Mormon can't throw. Well, he can throw. He just doesn't know where his receivers are. I mean, we sat there and watched it yesterday where it was just a little pitch to Dalvin, like a 3-yard pitch to Dalvin Cook, and it was a laser behind him. Like it was, we just all kind of chuckled at it. But then I'll put it this way: Zach Wilson was praised for his Hail Mary. That was where it was like, man, that was a pretty good throw, though. I'm like,
didn't complete it, but man, that was a good throw.
This is like Chris Collinsworth. Here's a guy who throws a really good Hail Mary.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, that Patrick
really,
Mahomes,
you got to look at all the factors.
I've ever seen a quarterback sit down quite like Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, 49ers. I mean, with their trades and everything, I mean, there should be. I mean, they shut down Jacksonville, who was on a hot streak.
Really did.
The Colts, they just went up against Mac Jones. Like it's just bad. It's. I'm not crying over it, but it's just crazy how bad.
So you're not dropping everything to pick up the Colts defense, who scored 17 points in 1 week?
No, because New England's bad. They're bad. Mac Jones is not it.
Man, that is a dumpster fire right there. Benching Mac Jones at the 2-minute mark when they actually still had a fighting chance to win because the final score was, 10-6?
Yeah.
And the backup goes in and does the exact same thing Jones have been doing all night.
Shout out Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, Bailey Zappi.
Zappy. Well,
I believe he still holds the record for the most touchdown passes in a single season. An NCAA record, just so you know. Throwing out there, just a little bit.
Well, his pass bailed on that. That one
doesn't always transition well to the NFL.
It never has a bad game. I mean, if they throw, I'm not gonna say me, but they throw somebody in 2 minutes left in the game when it's, I mean, all hope is lost. It's like, oh, cool, thanks for the inspiring confidence there, coach.
Right. I don't know. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, Houston. That was interesting. It's the fact that the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens are right there next to each other, and they played each other. I think that's just crazy how good both of those defenses are. And Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. I know you watch this show. Lay off Lamar, okay? That was a team effort by Cleveland, and it was a team effort by Baltimore to collapse. You're up 24-9. Yes, he had one bad interception, but lay off my boy, okay? Speaking about that, I got to put him on lay off my boy. All right.
Yeah. Well, if he could actually get more than 15 points on a fantasy week, kind of when it's in the playoff stretch, that'd be great. Just saying, Lamar.
I'll give him a call. I'll let him know.
Hit your boy out, man.
He did apologize last week. He did apologize.
He did. No, he did.
He hand up. He owns it. That's another good attribute of him. He understands. He takes responsibility for his actions.
Yeah. No, that's great. But just act better. Okay. It's a new week. What happened here? But anyways, who did show up? That was not Lamar Jackson. Was the kickers, dude. 5 games with game-winning, like basically just walk-off kicks, right, for the wins as far as field goals. Jacoby Myers, when did he start kicking? No. Myers, the kicker for the Seahawks. 21 points, man. Scored more than one of the top 10 quarterbacks, most of the top 10 defenses, close to the wide receivers who actually were balling out. Of course, that's not the highest, point total we've seen for kickers, but definitely a good day for him, as well as Prater with Arizona in that final seconds with that win. They're getting 18 points for him. Zierlein with the Jets getting 16 points because they can't score touchdowns. So, hey, score some field goals there. And right behind him is Carlson, who was the opponent kicker, who scored the only 12 points. scored points for the Raiders against the Jets, who only scored 12 points. But Boswell, Pittsburgh, getting 13. Hopkins with Cleveland getting 13 as well. Amendola, this is a fun story, was picked up that week.
Mm-hmm.
So almost like the Josh Dobbs of kicking.
Right.
Of course, you really don't have to know too many plays. I mean, it's just, okay, line up, 7 steps back, 7 steps to the left, and then kick, But still, I mean, be able to jump into a system and a team and, I mean, earn the fucking locker room in your first night. Definitely did that. And so congratulations, Amendola. There with Houston getting 13 points. Patterson with Detroit Lions getting 12 points. Santos, they were Chicago getting 12 points. And then McPherson, our boy's favorite there in Cincinnati, getting 11 points and rounding the top 10 for kickers. Kickers going forward, are there that many that you're sticking with? Or, I mean, are you still going to be kind of chasing the waiver wires, week to week, or are you kind of looking at batching it where it's like, hey, I'm going to pick them up for 3 weeks and then, try to get somebody else for the final part? I mean, what are you kind of doing there? Because 21 points could have really helped me out this week.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me not to stick with, like, if I've got Dicker, the kicker, Cameron Dicker for the Chargers, I'm sticking with him. It's like some you want to stick with. Again, like I said, push comes to shove, go with the team that gets across the 50 a lot, but doesn't really finish the job and needs a kicker. And if they're playing in a dome, I mean, Myers was ridiculous I believe it was at Seattle, which is a pretty tough environment to kick in as it is. But Prater, he was in a dome, therefore he kicked really well. With Arizona, and Arizona's kind of like that with, Kyler Murray's going to get them down there, but they just can't score. Cause that's kind of, I think that's in their contract. Like, hey, let's not win this game, but let's still make it respectable, type of thing. But yeah, no, I'm just, if your kicker has put up two, or their defenses, or I mean, their offenses have just become inept, then yeah, I would look at the waiver wire and go from there. Especially the matchup in which that team is playing as well. So just dome, get across the 50, don't score, matchup. That's what I would look at. Yeah.
And I don't want to read the top 10 overall. You guys can look up your own stats as far as on the season, because there's a couple of them I'm eyeing because I have a bye coming up. So maybe trying to get somebody off the waivers. But yeah, man. I mean, with the top 10, of course, you got the bye week, bye apocalypse in this week. We got another one coming up on the 13th. I know for that one, I'm getting rocked because I think I have 7 players on that bye week. So I'm definitely going to have to be making some moves here the next couple of weeks to really kind of adjust and account for that. But then also, basically just, getting rid of the cow for the milk, because even though I am still in a win, definitely after this loss, still in very much in a win now mode. I mean, I also can't, kind of forego it, because if they're on off chance I do make the playoffs, then I would be screwed because, I sacrificed everything just for those wins to get into it. But yeah, so that kind of brings us into the wild card. Yeah, so wild card, I mean, just like with the title of the show, kind of late finishes and clinching. And we're not talking about clinching your butt, y'all, even though some people were with those late finishes. They were definitely clinching.
Yeah.
Others were flinching. But no, seriously, because looking at the league, we got there is definitely some people have clinched. Tar Heel for Life, 8-1, soon to be 9-1, definitely getting into the playoffs, right? Olave Garden, 7-2. I think soon to be maybe 8-2. We'll be making it. You walked into a mess.
Yeah, sports ball.
But yeah, good to see you, Ambling Soul. We won't say your real name on screen. We'll keep your anonymity. But then this guy, SuperbowlSammy, coming in 6-3 right now. It looks like they are going to win their matchup. Go back to the league. They definitely are going to beat Olave Garden. So doing us the Lord's work as far as taking out some of the top teams. And so we're excited for that. Still don't know who the guy is or gal. I mean, I've got some relatives named Sammy, and they're girls. But anyways, like, sorry, that may be mine.
I didn't do that.
Check. Is that coming from your computer?
No, not coming. Hold on.
Hey, Soul, did we hit a button?
What are you?
We hit a button in the background. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry, folks. Bear with us. We got some technical difficulties.
Technical.
So, all right.
Oh.
But, oh no.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Well, little doggies, what's up? What is up? What is up? That's right. You know what? When I said all the belts, all the records, I meant all the belts, all the records, and I've come for the fantasy football belt and the fantasy football records. That's right. SuperbowlSammy is in the building. That's right. Jason, what does it sound like?
No.
It's your ass being spanked last week. That's right. You see that Chargers defense? Mwah. And then today, as long as I don't feed Jason Williams anymore, I should be okay. But I'm scared right now because he's getting closer and closer to catching up to me. We'll see. But no, right now, I got a chance to win this one as well. Go to 7-3. And I was at some point, I was 2-1-3 or something like that. I've been on a nice little run here. So kind of getting into the position. Y'all should know I'm a late bloomer. I lost to Scott Mance, then won the title. That's how it works. So I'm excited to be part of this. And this is a lot of fun.
No. Okay. So who gave you the link? I mean, seriously. Like, everybody's been wondering who the SuperbowlSammy was.
I have my ways of getting my stuff. Nice tackle there. Nice tackle on the line. Keep Williams from getting a yard. I have my sources. They said to me, this is the next thing you need to conquer here. Get into fantasy football. People have been crying and begging the Outlaw to be part of their leagues. And I'm not going to do it because you asked me. I'm going to do it on my schedule when I'm ready. And I was ready. And I jumped in, clicked in, and I was like, I'm not even going to tell them who I am because that'll mess them up. I needed them to play their best game, not get all weak-kneed and scared that they're playing the Outlaw. And so I made myself SuperbowlSammy. But as soon as I went on the run, as we're going into the back half of the season, I knew it was time to come out and shake some foundations to their core. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome, by the way. And thank you for joining.
Thanks for joining
with that intro.
Of course.
Now you definitely shook up the waiver wire.
Yeah, thank you.
You did a great job and you even had Javante on your team at one point because I remember you picked him up after I dropped him. And I'm with you. I'm cheering against Denver. I need the Buffalo Bills to score about another 40 points for me just so I can try to topple Jason L. Because you've done it, man. Like the last few weeks, you've beat the top teams.
Yeah,
and had definitely made huge strides in moving forward in the league, in the standings. And honestly, I mean, I don't think it's too soon to say you probably clinched a playoff spot.
Relax. There's still a lot of football to be played.
A lot of football left.
Anything could happen. Look, I thought I lost McCaffrey for the season with that oblique injury. So don't even, there's not a lot of replacements sitting on the waiver wire for Christian McCaffrey. So I got lucky.
Yeah.
And I even let my assistant pick my team because that's how much I didn't want to have to be a part of this. And then eventually I took over.
Gotcha. So you had help. You're not that good. You had help.
That's I had to let him do the first 4 weeks, and you see what happened. So I had to take over at that point because
you're just giving the league a little sense of accomplishment, right? You're just giving a little sense of accomplishment. Then I mean, with Jason, that matchup, I mean, that was like the best coaching job you ever did because you're like, you know what? I know I'm so confident I can beat him. I'm going to start 4 people on bye, and I'm still going to beat you. You know, so that was.
Well, here's the way you got to look at it. If you panic pickup. That's going to bite you in the ass. I had some good guys on the team, but I wasn't ready to I was like, if I've got to replace a kicker, replace a running back, replace a receiver, it gets a tight end. It gets to be too much, and it looks desperate. And if there's one thing the Outlaw isn't, it's desperate. And so I was like, all right, let's play him straight up. And let's see how the Sunday shakes out. And Sunday shook out, and we were looking at a Chargers versus Jets matchup, and no one in this league had the mindset to pick up the Chargers defense against a shitty-ass Jets team. I was like, Jason is just asking me to pick this defense up, and I had no problem picking up and then dropping whoever I dropped. It was irrelevant to me. And I picked up that Chargers defense, and damn if they didn't go for 25 points and swung the game. So, I'm sure Jason was living high on the hog thinking he got another undefeated season, and then the smack dizzle happened on that ass, and I took the victory from him now.
Well,
Yeah,
it helps.
right.
It helps to have right now probably the odds-on favorite to win MVPs and offensive rookie of the year, CJ Stroud, because he is going off. Does it
CJ's my backup, Josh. CJ's my backup. I got Jalen Hurts, so I might move CJ in the starting lineup. We'll see.
Yeah. And that's solid though to know that once your push king is out, that you can still put that in. And does it hurt to have a Dallas Cowboy on your team?
No, because he's finally performing. Unlike most of the Dallas Cowboys for the last 25 years, he's actually giving me points here in these matchups and in these games. So CeeDee Lamb has come to play. Thank God, whoever it was that called him out a few weeks ago for not being a number one receiver, he has shown it over the last few weeks that he is a number one receiver. So keep lighting the fire under that ass, because I need him to get like 30 or 40 points though.
He's been doing pretty well. So Dak Prescott's been playing very well.
Yes,
as far as putting up fantasy points, which is kind of crazy.
Sure.
And we got each other 2 weeks. I think that's when our Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, sure. If you're looking forward to it, they're just I take it one game at a time, one gluteus maximus at a time. That's how I handle it. So
hey,
if you're looking forward to it, great for you, Josh. Great. For you.
You're on house money because Snyder's gone. So. You're basically.
Was Snyder was Snyder in this league last year?
No, I'm saying like your owner, Dan Snyder.
Oh, Dan Snyder. Right.
Yeah, so you're on house money there. But no, your team is you've definitely maneuvered and made the right moves throughout the season. Like you said, you're like Braveheart. You held steady on that, because you always sit there and say, we've said it before many times on the show, do not tilt, do not freak out. It's a long season, a lot of football left. And just look at the matchups going forward. If they're favorable, like Ramondre Stevenson, he started off, even though he's on a bad team, the matchup started to go in his favor. Yep. But then you also have a Bijan Robinson where his coach doesn't like good players.
He doesn't believe him.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in him for some reason, him and Kyle Pitts for that. But it helps to have Christian McCaffrey on your team, so hey, knock on wood that he stays healthy, but you blink and he just craps out 20 points. He did this without even scoring a touchdown this week, which broke that record, streak on there. And your other, all in the house, Justin. Thanks for doing that. But
what's up, Justin?
But are you still confident that this is the Jahmyr Gibbs we expected all season?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I knew he was going to show up eventually. I kept the faith with him, and he's rewarded, and he's been fantastic. Yeah, there have been a couple off games, but overall, I've loved how he's played. A nice surprise. I'll tell you what, the guy I can't figure out is Christian Watson. What an absolute waste. I finally dropped him. Because I was like, I can get 4 points from every week from any other receiver that's on the waiver wire. Why am I wasting time? Jordan Love is a crap quarterback. And why am I wasting time with a guy like, God damn it, no, shit.
Javonte?
I just lost.
Yeah.
Did I just lose? I think I might have just lost.
Are you done having people play right now?
No.
No. Javonte just caught a touchdown.
Son of a bitch. Is that it for me?
Hold on. Let me look.
I'm refreshing.
No. You're still by 5 points according to what I'm looking at.
Nope.
Nope. You're down 48 to 146.
Damn it.
God dang.
Well,
this is the last time Outlaw's going to be on this show. I'll tell you this much right now. That's not a good. That's not a good omen,
man.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about CeeDee Lamb getting called out. The Buffalo Bills also got called out, and that didn't help them at all.
Yeah.
Apparently tonight.
No. Right.
Players only meeting called. Definitely looks like they have a lot of explaining to do. But do you think the Bills are done? Can we count them out?
I don't know yet. I mean, there's still 5 minutes left in the game. If they come back and score a touchdown, especially after Denver, of course, in their incompetence, didn't hit the extra point. They fumbled the extra point. So now Denver can come down calmly, no rush, kick the extra point and win the game. So to me, they still get the victory. And Denver has looked good over the last few weeks. I know people were shitting on them at the beginning of the season with that overblown Miami victory, but they've come on strong the last few weeks. Newsflash, Sean Payton can coach, and Russell Wilson can play quarterback. And Cortland Sutton, who I stupidly sat and should have played now because I would have won already this matchup for Deontay Johnson. I should have known that against a strong Green Bay defense. This situation here, you see it happening for Denver. I would not be surprised if they squeak out this victory. I wouldn't be surprised. And they're playing them tough in Buffalo. And there's clearly some issues going on with the coach in Buffalo. Like McDermott saying last week, well, we were experimenting with different types of offenses. Why the fuck would you do that when what you've done has always worked? So tweaking is different than experimenting. And so that's where I think there's dangers for Buffalo for sure. And
this
is
a training camp.
Year. A team we think is going to make the playoffs doesn't. So,
Yeah, it's not training camp. It's not preseason. I mean, why are you experimenting at this point? But also the Patriots are experimenting. Benching their quarterback 2 minutes left in the game. So maybe it's just the Northeast. Things just get a little bit too cold for their asses up there. I mean,
future Washington Commander coach Bill Belichick. Yeah, absolutely experimenting.
Yeah.
A lot of rumors around that.
There are a lot of rumors around that. That is for sure. How would you feel about that?
I'd feel great about that, but I would feel bad Bieniemy, but I think that's how you keep Bieniemy as offensive coordinator, not head coach. You bring in someone like Bill Belichick. Eric's like, okay, I can learn even more from this guy. I learned a lot from Andy Reid. I can learn even more from Bill for a couple of years before Bill retires. And it's very similar to when Vince Lombardi came to coach the Redskins back when they were called the Redskins way back when. And unfortunately, he had cancer during that first season, but he was turning that team around. And they were what George Allen essentially did later on. Lombardi was building the groundwork for. And so it could be very similar to that. Belichick comes in, but I don't think Sam Howell's the guy under Bill Belichick's direction. So I think we'd have to find or bring in a new quarterback. There's also rumors that he might take Brandon Staley's spot over there in Los Angeles. And I think that's a much more ready to be a Bill Belichick quarterback than Sam Howell is for the Commanders. I think Justin Herbert is more than ready to be that. So
that team was built when Staley or whatever his name was because Lynn, the former coach for the Chargers, that was the thing. Like, we need the guy here to get us over the hump because we have the roster. And we thought this was with him, and then he rolled the dice way too many times going forward on fourth down on their own 10 about 7 times last year and all that stuff. And he's clock management's all over the place, and he's too analytical on that. It just doesn't. I think that the only thing I worry about with keeping Bieniemy on is Bill likes his guys. He's always liked his guys, and McDaniel.
Sadly.
That's true. Oh, fuck that. I don't want.
I know. I'm aware. I'm just letting you know. Bill likes
Josh McDaniel's been great, man. He's been a head coach at like 25 different locations.
Yikes.
He's the only coach to be fired midway through the season twice.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put it that way.
And he left a team before he even started the season. Accepted the position and then bailed on them.
Oh, the Indianapolis Colts. I remember that part.
Yeah, the Colts.
Don't you talk about the Patriots like that?
Yeah, right.
Hey, you all just like the Cowboys in the '90s. I'll hand up. I'll take it. I'll take my lumps for 25 years. The Patriots, it's your turn. Okay, you had it for 20. Okay, it's your turn. All right, and now Tvshka, just wait for this conversation when Patrick Mahomes gets.
Hey, that's fine. I'm good with 2. It's 2 more than what we've had over the last 50 years. I'm good.
Kansas City, Taylor Swift.
Oh, poor Kansas City, man. Have you ever seen a shakier 7-2 team? Jesus Christ. I feel bad.
Oh my God, right? Those defenses. Oh, so shaky.
The defense is great.
Ooh,
the offense,
shaking in our boots. Ooh.
Let me tell you something. The defense looks like Taylor Swift now. The offense looks like Taylor Swift back then. And that's the problem. You're not getting the right Taylor Swift on both sides.
So you're not a fan of country music then, apparently.
Yeah. Her country music. He's wearing a cowboy hat named the Outlaw, but he doesn't like
I'm saying her music's gotten stronger. This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes,
we're still talking about ex-boyfriends on it.
It's a little simple, the offense, just like her music was back then.
Yeah. Have you ever, just to kind of go into the league and stuff here, so thank you for participating in.
No, it's been fun. Honestly, it's been fun.
Awesome.
Awesome. And
it's the only league I'm in, by the way. I didn't join anything else, so I'm
thank you.
Just having fun playing because I've been so busy.
That's honored. I feel honored that this is the one league. And
man.
That's the first
Did we
time
put a ring on it? Did we put a ring on this?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Not sneaking around.
Yeah, this is the first time I've used the Sleeper app. I was surprised it was free, but this is basically just for fantasy stuff. Because ESPN app, I was tired of it. That's what we used before, and it doesn't work. I don't know. It's just not very good.
Yeah.
As far as that,
it's convoluted.
We officially, Roka, just so you know, we did hold a vote on it. We did officially extend trades to week 13.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
As far as it can go. Just so you know on that.
If anybody wants Tyler McLaurin, come give me a call. I want to get rid of him so bad.
Right? He's got turf toe.
If I suffer one more injury, I may be knocking on your door because
maybe.
I've already traded Puka, and then the Rams went to crap.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But I've got Cooper Kupp now, so I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
I dropped Christian Watson, picked up Taysom Hill, thought Taysom. I almost played him. Thank God I didn't. Taysom only 4 points this past week.
Yeah.
All right, look,
like
that
35
impossible.
points a
exactly.
game.
I am writing. I'm like Cartman in the Pandaverse. I've been writing 10,000 letters every
Yeah.
day to Sleeper because he is not a tight end. Okay,
Or
he's a
quarterback.
quarterback that they say they could be a tight end, and I
Yeah.
can't change it, and it's BS. Okay,
Possibly a running back.
possibly a running
At
back, but he's
most.
not a tight end. That is a
Not a
cheat
tight
code. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
almost
saying it
picked him up
bugs
in
me,
this
but it bugs me.
Yeah, I hear you.
But
I hear you.
Yeah.
But
But,
yeah, no,
we've been waiting on somebody to pick him up, and then as soon as he gets picked up, he has a bad
Yeah.
weekend.
he
Yeah,
has
it's
a
perfect.
That's just how it works. Oh, you get like
Perfect
2-3 good weeks. Oh, great. Oh, now we see a little bit of validity in it, and you pick him up, you put him in, and then they shit the bed for another 2 to 3 weeks, and then you drop them, and then they do good. So we actually had a previous episode that for the wild card we call it toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So what players have you had a toxic relationship? Either they're bad to you or you're bad to them. Because for me, it was Justin Tucker, where he was kind of doing middling performance, and I was like, man, there's just there's so many good, better looking kickers that are more consistent. Dropped him, he scored 20 points, and then so that's kind of that. But I mean, who have you kind of had that toxic relationship?
Deshaun Watson
this season.
Like this season,
He's had a lot of toxic relationships.
Yeah, he has had a lot of toxic things.
Right. There was a moment where I was looking at the roster after my assistant had kind of fucked up the first few weeks, and I was like, who's on the roster giving the team bad mojo? And it was Deshaun Watson as the backup quarterback. And it's no surprise. Now I am going to lose this week, but after I dropped Deshaun, I've gone 3-1. And so that to me is a good enough reason for me to keep going that route and not bring him back. And the fact that CJ Stroud was sitting out there, nobody had taken him.
I know.
It just really worked out for me in that way. I almost picked up Brock Purdy. I thought Purdy was going to have a good game, and he did. I had a sense that he was going to come back fired up, and he did. And it would have gotten me 4 extra points. Might have been the difference in this matchup, depending on how it all falls out. So sometimes you don't always make the right choice, but you play your instincts. But Deontay Johnson, I've stood by him through the season, but this performance this past week is the reason why I was worried about standing by him, because he gonna do a clunker at some point, and sure enough, unfortunately, was this week. The Eric Ingram one was the surprise for me as well. Like, I mean, I know the 49ers smashed him pretty hard, but I thought Josh was going to get the ball into his hands a little more than he did. So, but I don't know that there's anyone else that Christian Watson, fuck him, man.
Yep.
I was like,
that guy, I've been carrying. I've been carrying that tomato can for weeks now on my team, and at some point, I finally had to drop him because it just was too much.
That was me with Jahan Dotson this year. Because I liked him with Bieniemy, and everything just made sense. Hal looked good in the preseason, which the preseason don't watch it out because Kenny Pickett looked electric, right during the preseason.
Oh, dude, give him the MVP in preseason,
right? And Sam Howell, and then Desmond Ridder had, I think his rookie year, he was like great in the preseason, and then you actually play the games and realize, they're not good. But
that's
Jahan
Dotson, the
Dotson,
second and third stringers.
I stayed away from Deontay Johnson because he hasn't scored a touchdown in like a decade. And so he finally did it this year. But I think it was 24 games out of 24 games he's had 1 touchdown. It's kind of crazy there. And Arthur Smith is my toxic relationship this year.
Oh, okay.
Having Bijan Robinson.
And
that's my toxic relationship.
Boy. Yeah.
So
that is so rough. And he intentionally shits on fantasy football players too. Like knowing he's pissing off a majority of America, and for one, not saying they're playing, and then at halftime, they had a cold, so we ended up not playing them. Which I'm still waiting on the verdict from that.
I know the NFL looked into that because technically you're supposed to tell up front, to Jay Glazer or all them to be like, hey, they're out before the game because I think it's a league rule. That way the opponent knows.
Exactly
on that, so that way you're not hiding anything.
I think it's like 90 minutes before kickoff or something like that.
Yeah. So you have to say
there's
that.
a certain time limit, and he didn't do that. So I like to kind of see what that looks like. God, plus, man, in the entire state of Georgia just absolutely hates this guy.
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith. The head coach.
And the thing is, the problem is he keeps winning and actually there for the division. So it's just like we can't us fantasy nerds can't be like we have nothing to stand on because he can't pivot because he keeps winning. And so he goes on stage and has a 5-minute mouth vomit saying absolutely nothing when they ask him why they're not giving the ball to Bijan Robinson. They put them to 5. Until this week, he had one rush in the 5, and we kept giving it to Tyler Algier. It was like,
he's a good car salesman.
Yeah.
Like he's toxic, like to talk to, and just a bad person in general. But then they go out and they deliver and they sell, and it's like, well, we can't fire him because they're doing pretty good. But yeah, they are a little bit of a toxic person.
Yeah, Annie Agar goes off on him every week on her.
I love her.
She's
I love
the
her
best.
stuff.
Yeah,
and her brother's story and her dad about doing triathlon stuff.
Very
is
inspiring
really cool.
stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm wondering if Kyron Williams is going to come back and be strong for me again because he's supposed to come back in week 12, and that'll be my push to the playoffs. You know, whatever inconsistency I may have on the receiving side, Gibbs, McCaffrey, and Williams will be good numbers, I think, going to the back half of the season if he picks up.
It just depends on if the Rams say F it at that point. That's the problem. Exactly. And with his injuries, kind of with Justin Jefferson injury, they're bringing him back because Josh Dobbs and they have a chance to get to the playoffs. So therefore, you're going to play Justin Jefferson because Justin Jefferson's still going to play because he's on a contract year and stuff like that. Where Kyron Williams, they might not want to screw the pooch and RG3 him. Sorry to bring that up, but that's an excellent example.
It's a long time ago, man. Yeah.
Right, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, just don't rush him back or anything like that. And if the Rams are already out of it and there's just no point in them bringing him back, and he's on a rookie, is he a rookie? Is he second year? I forget.
Yeah.
But so they might still run him anyway.
Second year, I think. Yeah.
But that's what they did last year. I mean, it could actually work out because that's what they did with Cam Akers last year, where they were like, screw it, and they just gave him the ball the whole time.
Right.
And he ended up having a pretty decent last half. So either way, it could go either way for you on that.
Well, let me ask you, the Bills are up now. They scored the touchdown. They hit the extra point. Unfortunately, Russell Wilson remembered he had Samaje Perine on his team one series too early or too late rather, and now he's giving him the ball. If Williams gets the ball and fumbles it, is that the only way they can drop points as a running back in this fantasy league? Like, what's the situation here?
They tackle him like 7 times behind the line to get him negative yards to minus his rushing yards.
Because right now, there's literally less than 2 points that separate us.
Yeah, 146.94 for you.
Right.
And then 148.88 for Olave Garden. Yeah.
So who has to fumble? Because he has to fumble the ball then.
It would be because that's the only player he has that's going.
If he fumbles it and it goes to a 6, to like not a pick 6, but a 6, is that?
It doesn't add any additional points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It'll add points for the defense because they scored, but it won't take away more. Trust me, I've done that before too. I've looked at league settings. I'm like, okay, how does this work? How does this? Yeah, because I lost to the very first week.
Yeah,
I lost to Jason because of the overtime punt return.
Oh yeah, I remember
the Jets.
The overtime punt
return, they're playing the Buffalo Bills, and I had Diggs, and it's like, dude, they're overtime. Diggs scored. Suck it. I'm celebrating. We have a YouTube short that you can check out, by the way, if you guys haven't seen that on Ruckus EV. But it just one of those things where it's just like, okay, crap. Like, how does this change? And it's like, yeah, no, it's done. It's over.
Right.
Like, walk off home run, essentially, as far as that punt return, 6 points. I think I was beating him by maybe like 1 point or less.
Wow.
And you can't count your chickens before they hatch before they return a punt return. I mean, how many punt returns have even been returned this year?
I know. Well, that's why I told you to stop saying I was going to win tonight, and sure enough, you jinxed me, you sack of shit. I tell you all the time not to do that.
No, I was saying that
you almost messed me up last week against Jason too. You almost messed me up last week.
I was just saying you're going to the playoffs.
You started way too many players. That was your problem. Okay? That was what you did.
Your opponent started an injured player.
My opponent sat. He didn't start He sank Tank Dell, and Tank Dell had 18 points.
Yeah, he played Higgins. So
I thought for sure. Who is this guy, by the way? Who is
Olave Garden? Yeah, he's one of the newer players.
I think he's Jason's cousin.
Jason's nephew.
Oh, right on.
Cousin, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I guess he's defending the family honor since Jason couldn't get the job done last week. So respect to Shane there. What about who's Lights Camera Jackson? Is that really Lights Camera Jackson? You guys get him in the league?
No, that is not. That's a local friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Here.
I was like, how did you guys get him? That was funny to me. So.
His draft was interesting.
One with the names for sure here.
Okay.
Yeah, his draft is interesting. I think he drafted like 3 tight ends and 4 quarterbacks. But he dropped a lot at the end of week 1 on that. But yeah, no. But yeah, it's kind of shaping up to fight for the playoffs. And as long as you have, as they say, as long as you have a place at the table, you got a chance.
That's true.
And it's because it's basically 60-40 to me. I mean, I can ask you as far as how the luck and skill is involved. It's 60% luck and 40% skill on that. Because, I mean, as you know, the 60% luck helped you out last week.
Yeah, true.
On that. But, this is how sometimes you can sit there, look at the matchups, carry the 4 and do all the analytics you want. But sometimes they just don't perform and you're sitting there shaking your head like, what the heck happened? Like Lamar this year, he's up and down, but that's because of the new system. He doesn't have to put on the Superman cape
Is it because of the new system? Because he hasn't done this for the last 3 years, and I keep drafting him.
He's been hurt the last 2.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting that out there.
So tomorrow, we play next week there, Mabry. We play next week.
Yes. You all are the Thanksgiving Day. So we may have a turducken episode or something of that nature.
Do I have players on that? Oh, that's right, because all those players are playing on Thursday. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a running back since Arthur Smith doesn't like mine.
yeah. Well, yeah, there's gonna be probably a lot of trades before Thursday next week for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's everyone's close from 8 to 3. Everyone's close because 2 is about to go up 8 to 2 unless.
Yeah. So I'll run down the standings. So kind of for the league scores, I unfortunately lose to Jason again. This time was actually very decidedly. So he well deserved on this one. Scoring 100 points, he scored 146. Unfortunately, as we found out live on air, Team SuperbowlSammy lost 146.94 to Alave Gardens 148.88. But there's still hope.
It's fourth down. It's not going to hand off to Williams. It's 4th down. How did Perrine come in for the next? Why? What happened to? Why couldn't Williams get injured like the series before? This is bullshit.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, Samaje Perine is actually one of the more underrated backup running backs.
I agree.
Yeah.
He really does.
I like how you praise Sean Payton on his job, and now you're like, F him. He put in the wrong players.
Well,
I hate Sean Payton.
He's terrible.
Yeah. But also who's not terrible, but unfortunately was not great today was Sulphur Hilltoppers, 115 points to Blackpool Combat Clubs.
I had no one else to start. I had to put Waddle in because I was Bipocalypse and I wasn't going to drop anybody. But Bipocalypse really got quite a bit of people this week and may have gotten reckless, but then with only 1 win so far, possibly not, with 104 points. They lose to Dak Lives Matter. It's a local battle because Reckless is also a local friend. 135.32 points is what Dak Lives Matters gets. Team Saquon Barkinsdale. Yeah. This one is actually still the only competitive one.
How so?
Well, besides yours. It's 126.12 points, 127.38 to Team Shrinerks. Literally point difference. Team Shrinerks has Josh Allen playing, who literally has more commas than probably the Amazon owner's freaking bank account because 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 2-point conversion, 2 interceptions, 4 carries, 13 yards, 1 touchdown as far as running, and 1 fumble loss. Of course, he's going to have 3 turnovers. His name's Josh Allen, and it's 2023. Why would he not have 3 turnovers? So that very much could change. That's the only player playing, barring Josh Allen not getting any more negative points. Shriners may get their 3rd win of the season against teams. Saquon Barkinsdale III, who was actually our former commissioner, but our regional legal consultant, Daniel Haygood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But with the standings, go ahead.
It's 25 seconds left, and the Broncos have the ball when they just did a 4th down throw and got a pass interference. Smart play by Russell. Again, if the Broncos win this game, 4-5, with the Buffalo Bills going to 5-5, they're 1 game behind the Bills in terms of the standings. And for all the bury the Broncos talk, they might start looking dangerous to some people to play here going forward. That could be real interesting down the road.
Well, and even last year without Coach Payton.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs, it was one score games. So same with I think for one of the Raiders games, but also both of the Chargers games.
Yeah,
it just comes down to like one drive typically.
Yeah,
7 points, 3 points, and we've seen 5 of those games end in field goals.
Yeah,
are we going to see the 6th one here right now? That's gonna be interesting to see. But I'll run through the standings real quick as you were kind of getting to. So Tar Heel for life definitely wins. So they're going to go 9-1. It's definitely going to lock him in. So they're clinching. While other people are probably clinching other parts. 11 Garden. It looks like they may or may not. We'll see. But regardless, for them 7-2 right now, SuperbowlSammy 6-3 right now. That could be a very interesting matchup. And I would venture to guess we're going to see them play again, possibly in the playoffs. Dak Lives Matter with 5-4. Right, so they're going to be winning today, going to 6-4. They're right up in the mix, so that's probably going to be our top 4 right there because Team Saquon Barkinsdale is going to be losing. He's 4-5 right now.
Yeah,
so they're going to be staying sub 500, but going to 4-6. Blackpool Combat Club is going to be winning and getting up to 500 and going 5-5.
Who's that? Is that Winston? Blackpool.
That is GIF.
Oh, GIF. Okay.
Yeah, that is GIF the bitch. But I think myself currently 4-5, but we'll be 4-6. We'll be sitting on the outside. So for Hilltoppers as well, losing to.
How do you two host a show and can't make the playoffs? This is
because we spend a lot of time prepping and actually.
I have 6 leagues.
Maybe Jason and I should host the show going forward. I think maybe that might be the best.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to spend the time on it, that's great.
My guess. I don't care.
I do spend the time. It's called Game Time. Oh, shit, I'm running in here.
That's not a fantasy football show, but definitely drop a plug for it though. I mean, so what is Game Time and who are you with on that one?
Hold on. Let's see. Are they going to make the field goal? He missed it. Oh my God! Buffalo wins, but there's flags all over the place. Probably offside. What was your question?
No. Just giving you a moment. What's Game Time? I have no idea.
What's Game Time? Game Times are a sports show that I do on the Game Time Sports Channel. It used to be on the Outlaw Nation channel. It is now on its own channel. We do it usually Tuesdays at 11 a.m., but tomorrow, because I have a screening for Napoleon at 10 a.m. in the morning, we will be doing it at 2 p.m. tomorrow, 2 p.m. PT. Me and Winston A. Marshall having fun talking about covering the NFL news and the NFL games and in a fun, lighthearted, ball-busting manner. And then we cover any other big sports stories that pop up throughout the week. So, yeah, that's usually what we do. Once every week, having fun talking football. And we'll see if there's more to come from that channel. But for right now, it's that's what it is. So, yeah, it's a good time.
Oh, yeah. And you guys have such great chemistry.
Thank you.
Winston's great, and as well as yourself on those. And you can definitely see it. That kind of comes through the screen.
Oh, yeah. I think, Jay got too busy, and that's why he's not on the show anymore. But Winston, not that he isn't busy, but Winston's job is a little more easier in terms of flexibility to make that happen.
Jay's too busy being a new rock star now.
Oh, is that? Yeah, is Jay part?
Yeah, he's on the break. Yeah, he's on the new Rockstars break room and some of those breakdowns too. So
nice.
Yeah, which they also quote you quite a bit on one of your other shows, the Hot Mic.
Oh yeah. Do they? Okay, cool. Yeah. They've never asked me to come on their show, so I don't know that they quote us or do anything. So that's cool.
Out. You heard a new Rockstars. Give this guy a call, man. Don't just copy and paste the link to the video and put it in.
They're pretty big. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm sure
They definitely are big.
I am. So,
but also what was big was that miss, man. A botched snap or catch as far as with the holder.
Yeah. What is okay? Yeah.
But they're getting the 3rd and 13. So
yeah.
What was the penalty? Because it looked like
it was too many men.
Mess of things.
Too many men on the field, right? Is that what?
Yeah, because they rushed the field goal unit on, so the defense had to get their special teams on. They had too many. They hiked the ball with too many men on. They couldn't count to 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or they did count to 11, then they stopped to not count 12, 13, and 14.
This is a tough loss for Buffalo. In Buffalo, to lose to Denver like this, a team that had gotten beat 70-20. Man, I don't know what the conversation is now. I mean, and Buffalo is This is crazy. They're only one game above the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just right now. I think this is this to me. This is the ceiling for McDermott. I don't. I just. I don't.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't.
probably right.
He got him this far, and it's kind of like certain coaches. It's like you got us this far. We need someone to take it over the hump. Kind of like just to go back. I don't know, just college recently, like the James Franklin Penn State. Like we need somebody to kind of get us over that hump. There, as Penn State fans were saying. So that might. I just think this is this. I think this is probably it for McDermott. I mean, he's been there for quite some time, and this is it. I don't want to sit there and, I wish that they could get over the hump, but I just don't see it. Right.
Yeah, there are some lifers that can only take you so far. McDermott may be one of those guys in the end. Yeah, I mean, I am Bills Mafia, but I've always been trepidatious about all those preseason predictions with them every year because I like Josh, but Josh's tendencies are a little too gunslingerish, and they always end up kind of blowing up in his face. I don't know what happened. I didn't watch most of the game because I was hosting a spoiler review for the Marvels, but 15 points against this Broncos, that's at home. That's not a recipe for a good offense. And it may just be the players are starting to tune McDermott out, and that's usually the death knell for a coach.
Yeah. When you lose a locker room, that's pretty much all.
Oh yeah,
all you can. And shout out to the Geek Buddies, by the way. You can also check them out with their spoiler Marvels reviews. I haven't seen it yet, but I know I saw how much people love that you actually said the movie was okay on Twitter. That was hilarious. I'm saying this. How dare you just say it was okay? I love the internet's fun, isn't it?
People are so upset. They take sides. No.
We also had a question. I don't think we got to yet.
Okay.
How does Roca feel about Tua?
In terms of what? I think Tua is a good quarterback, but that Miami offense is a bunch of smoke and mirrors, man. I mean, McDaniel. It's going to be interesting to see Hard Knocks going forward over the next few weeks.
It looks so good.
Following them to the end of the season, and I'm certainly going to be watching those episodes. But if they don't start beating teams with winning records, no one's going to take this team seriously. And there are people who still think these Dolphins team will get to the Super Bowl, which I think is an incredible amount of delusion. Anytime they play a team of quality, they get their asses handed to them. And yeah, sure, Kansas City didn't beat them as badly as other teams beat them, but that's because Kansas City's offense is not as strong as it was in years past. But they did enough. And that Tyreek Hill is fumbling away your game. That's not a good sign. So I think McDaniels is a fucking great coach, but I think there's problems there's problems about how he game plans against these stronger teams, because this Miami team is supposedly stacked and they do not show up against big teams. So whatever he's doing to motivate this team, it is not working against bigger opponents.
To me, the MVP of the league, like, it goes to the most valuable player, and that's Tyreek Hill. Because, speaking about Tua, and just because Jalen Waddle has been waddling the whole season. He's been up and down with injuries, but Tyreek Hill makes that team, even though he screwed up against the Chiefs with that fumble there. But I mean, he's been that, and Vic Fangio is one of the best defense coordinators in the league. So, but the defense is still suspect. So I don't get that part either with the Dolphins. One of my coworkers is a huge Dolphins fan. He does a Dolphins podcast, all that, and I just told him, I was like, so what's it feel like to be the Miami Cowboys? And he goes, don't you say that. And I was like, look, I'm a Cowboys fan. I've seen it. I love 8-8. It's great.
Don't you put that on him, Ricky Bobby?
Yeah. But that's
look, they don't have a lot of strong teams, so they will probably win the division that they have to play. Like, they play the Raiders next, who the fuck is O'Donnell? Then they have the Jets. They'll probably smoke the Jets. Then they have us. They'll probably beat us. Then they have Tennessee. Maybe, depending on how Levis is playing, maybe they'll get it done against Tennessee. Then they have the Jets again. Then they play your Cowboys. That may be the first loss they have in the next few weeks. Then they play Baltimore, and then they play Buffalo. And who knows what mental condition Buffalo is going to be in by the end of the season, whether they're playing spoiler or whether they're playing to get into the playoffs. So, Miami could go on a nice little run here, pad their record, and get to maybe 11-6 by the end of the season, 12-5 possibly. And so they look like a juggernaut, but not having played strong teams or won against strong teams, it'll be interesting to see if they're a 1-and-out when the playoffs start. So, yeah.
The way it looks, the whole AFC North is going to get in the playoffs. The way it's going.
Exactly.
I don't see how the Steelers are winning. It just every time you look up, they're like, oh, they won again? How? Like, Kenny Pickett can't throw the ball 4 yards.
Coach of the year, man.
I mean, Tomlin is incredible.
Tomlin has never been under 500. I don't think he's ever had a season under 500.
Did you see his record in one-score games? It's like 27-1 or some shit over the last 4 seasons. It's like, what the fuck? So that's a team that is well coached. If they're winning that many one-score games, that means they're keeping their nerve. They're not overreacting. They're not committing stupid penalties. They are drilled to play to the last second. And I think Tomlin knows this because he hasn't had anyone like Big Ben since Ben retired. And so he's had to kind of scratch and claw and figure out how to win games. And he's done that with this team. Consistent seasons now. With
AFC North, nobody's below 500. The Ravens at 7-3, Steelers at 6-3, Browns at 6-3, and then the Bengals at the bottom of their division.
The Bengals
which is insane to say.
After their loss to Houston. After loss to Houston, it's that could be.
Bengals and Bills could be the two teams that are out of the playoffs that everyone thought was going to make the playoffs or make a run to the Super Bowl. And even after the Bengals had a great run here, beating the 49ers, whatever, like that loss against Houston is a big loss, man. I mean,
and Burrow threw 2 costly interceptions.
And so
it was just weird.
I want to see how they do the Texans. I want to see them make a run here now that Jacksonville kind of got their asses handed to them by the 49ers. It could be real. They're only a game behind Jacksonville. So don't count out the Houston Texans at all if they're starting to feel themselves.
The Texans, and then like they're definitely the new darling. For the AFC for sure. I think for the NFC, it's got to be the Vikings, man. Like who doesn't want to see Josh Dobbs win? Everybody's behind that guy's corner. Josh, you were going
to the Vikings fans were shaving their eyebrows. Josh Dobbs,
because he has alopecia or whatever.
And he was doing that, but and then
that's cool.
Josh Dobbs is a great, obviously former Tennessee volunteer,
right?
And they really never talked about. He had a solid career at Tennessee, but just like every person that I have to deal with a lot of Tennessee fans here, and I keep telling them, hey, you're mediocre, just deal with it. And they just can't hear that part because it's not 92 anymore. But I think finally, because my parents are all Green Bay fans, and I'm like, welcome to mediocrity. It sucks. Trust me. But the Lions, I can't figure them out. Like what exactly they are. I know they're a good team and I know they can make a run, but they're always, they're still the Lions. Right? Like you just know that. And I can see them making a run though in the NFC and because they can throw the ball and the Eagles cannot, their secondary is not very good. I mean, they didn't realize where CeeDee Lamb was on the field at any point during that game.
But again, we're not going to know who the Lions are by anything that's on their schedule for the rest of the year, except for maybe at Dallas. Like they've got Chicago, Green Bay, New Orleans, Chicago, Denver, Minnesota. Those are all potential wins for the Lions. Maybe Minnesota gives them a strong game. Maybe Denver, if Denver has kind of turned things around, is a strong, tough team for them to play. But they don't, and then they're at Dallas and then end at home against Minnesota, which could be for the division. To be honest with you, it could be.
That's
for the
what
division.
I'm thinking. Either for the division or basically who's going to get the division spot or who's going to get the wild card.
I'll tell you what the
greatest
greatest
story.
story.
One of the wild cards is going to come out of that North Division.
I'll tell you what the greatest story is, Tvshka and Josh, is Josh Dobbs takes the Vikings to the Super Bowl while Kirk Cousins is home with Achilles tendon injury. That would be the greatest example of how overblown Kirk Cousins has been. And if Josh Dobbs pulls a Nick Foles and essentially sends him into the Carson Wentz territory of his career, that would be hilarious to me on so many levels. I'm not a Cousins.
I think you're not a Kirk Cousins fan.
No,
I did enjoy him on quarterbaak. He was with the way he was with his son and stuff.
So are you a Creed fan?
No, I don't like Creed either.
You don't like Take Me Higher? Come on, man.
No.
You don't like the Kirk Cousins Cole's catalog of fashion?
How do you like that? How do you like that?
He's got a Dillard's credit card, guys.
I love it in the regular season, Kirk. How about you do it in the fucking postseason, guy? I mean, for years with the Redskins, he was such a great regular season quarterback and a shitty playoff quarterback and a shitty quarterback in big games.
Prime time.
He rarely showed up in big games, and he started doing the same thing in Minnesota. And I would tweet out to Minnesota Vikings fans, y'all get ready because this is all that's coming for you and him.
Hey,
So
He's probably just too nice of a guy. He just doesn't have the tenacity, maybe. To, just
well,
get
maybe.
out there and really.
But he's all about religion and he's all about no COVID vaccines and all this stuff. And so it's like you got to have a hard edge to have that kind of stuff. And so I would like to see, like Warner was very religious, but Warner also wanted to cut your throat out in a game. So we'd love to see Cousins have a little bit of that rather than the preppy school kid yelling at you as he's walking off the court that his dad bought. How you like that? That's not intimidating to anybody.
You all just missed Heineke.
Oh,
he wasn't going to get you. He was going to get you, but it was going to be a fun ride.
Yeah.
Compared to Sam Howell, he's fine.
He's Brett Favre without the dick pics. That's what Heineke is.
Yeah.
So,
or the scams.
Yeah. And we'll
alleged scams.
I mean, Howell is like Heineke too, so I don't think that's much of an upgrade Howell has been. Although Howell can wing the ball, and I think he's learning how to play in Bieniemy's offense.
Mm-hmm.
But until we get rid of Ron Rivera, we're not winning dick. And until we get rid of Jack Del Rio and his toxic ass energy, we ain't winning dick. So we got to figure that out.
You already cleaned house, so with your two defensive linemen,
which is tough.
And that Denver was almost there. I just read a report where they were trying to unload Patrick Surtain and a couple of other defensive
Jerry Jeudy.
guys. And they were trying to unload, and they couldn't. And maybe they just like, nope, we're going to stick with what we got. I think we can turn a corner or something like that. I mean, and so far they beat the Chiefs. Now, granted, Patrick Mahomes, his flu game wasn't as good as Jordan's.
It still doesn't matter.
But and then Taylor Swift wasn't in the crowd because, as you know, if Taylor Swift is there, Travis Kelce averages 108 yards a game. When she's not there, he averages 46.
I can't even.
That makes no sense to me.
You're telling me on game time you guys aren't giving these reports?
We did. Well, Winston and I had
the one time.
2 weeks ago, we went at it over the Taylor Swift situation, which I thought was one of the best segments we've ever done. It was.
I did say in my news and notes injuries, I did say that Travis Kelce was shown kissing his girlfriend at the Taylor Swift concert this week.
Yeah, right. In Argentina.
Right.
What are you doing down there?
And then
bye week, baby. Bye week.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver's interesting. Denver got Minnesota next week, then Cleveland, then at Houston. Denver at Houston could be interesting. Two teams who are maybe rejuvenating their seasons, going at each other. Then they're at I think they'll kill the Chargers. Then they're at Detroit. That could be a real interesting game. If they pull the upset in Detroit, goodness gracious. So
I'm
kind of quietly cheering for them now.
On the map. Yeah.
I'm kind of quietly cheering for them. What?
Just because
well, settle down. They're in the AFC West, bud. They're in the AFC West. Just settle down there.
You know what? Can't be the Chiefs every motherfucking year, for God's sake. And I say that
it has been for 8 years.
I mean, top. I don't know, top six, probably top 6, top 7 in NFC right now, as far as where I have them ranked.
Just outside the wild card territory.
Right. Just right outside, because I would, as far as the NFC, Philly, Eagles, Lions, San Francisco, Seattle. So like right in that 6-7 spot, because I don't like anybody in the NFC South. I don't trust anybody.
And also it's like, to me, it's much like the Raiders situation, where whenever you get rid of a coach, you have a little bit of a rejuvenation, and it's a little bit of a wild card. And people don't know exactly how to scheme against it because there's not a set plan. But not having a set plan only gets you 1 or 2 weeks. After that 3rd, 4th week, people figure it out. Like if you don't have an idea of what you're doing, or you don't have a set plan, it's going to get figured out pretty quickly. Yeah. So with Dobbs being in there, it's a little bit of that rejuvenation, that little bit of wild card. But we'll see though. But again, they're kind of the current NFC darling because everybody loves that like underdog story. Just like for CJ Stroud, but I'm with you, man. I think the Texans are legit in here, and I'm excited to see that kid play not just the rest of this year, but the next 5 to 10 years because these rookies are showing out. Yeah, they're showing out. This is a young NFL league. Yep, young NFL league.
With the new rules, it's not as physical as it once was. So they're able to, like, you have the Jordan Addisons, Tutu Atwells, those small quick receivers that couldn't last in the league based off of how the rules were before, and now they are able to really showcase their speed. So you're seeing a lot of those, speedy receivers that are. I mean, Tutu Atwell, came in at 5'9", 150. at the
Yeah.
combine.
Yeah.
And I called my dad and told him he held me back as a child. But no,
Nice.
but Jordan Addison's not very big. Tank Dell's not very big.
Yeah.
And these are, and so it's interesting to see, like, you typically would have like that, the tall 6'2", 6'1", Calvin Johnson type of receiver.
Yeah.
And they still exist. I mean, AJ Brown's killing it, and I mean, he's just a monster. And DK Metcalf, but Tyler Lockett, he's not very big.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill,
yeah, they're not very big.
We're short but fast as hell. Yeah.
So and Devontae Smith, not very big on that regard. So you just see a lot. And then with the rookies, typically we were talking about the rookies a couple of episodes ago about it takes probably about this time of the season, that week 10, week 11, where they start getting used to the speed and the system and everything, and then they go to them. Yeah, where you're seeing them just right now, there's, especially with rookie quarterbacks, they typically throw them in the fire and tell them to swim because that's what they drafted them for up there. But like those skill players, they typically, you don't see that happen. But Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, you're seeing like Tank Dells, you're seeing rookie running backs and receivers really hitting the board right out the gate.
Necessity. I mean, injuries are rampant this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they happen every year, but this year it just seems like it's been a little bit more because we've had a record-setting number of rookie quarterbacks starting. This year, like, it's insane. But Roka, we don't want to take up much more of your time. We appreciate you being gracious. We definitely appreciate you being in the league. You can stop being so good. So maybe
now I lost.
Me or Josh can make it into the playoffs. But
thanks for coming on the one and only time since you lost while you were actually on the show.
Shit, huh?
We should have fixed it. We should have fixed it. You win. We're gonna change the rules. You win.
I think next week I'm going to play CJ Stroud over Jalen Hurts. Jalen is coming back, but Jalen's playing a tough KC defense. I got a feeling that defense is going to shut down Jalen. And I think CJ is going to have a field day against Atlanta. So I really
do wonder, and I need to look and see if there's actually over under tush push touchdowns, like a prop bet. Right. I got to see that. Do you think they should outlaw it? Last little thing, and then we'll let you go.
No.
Okay.
If you can make a play work, why should you be outlawed from making it work? Like, that's ridiculous to me.
Okay. I'm 1,000% with you. I'm like, it's like Sirianni said, like, everyone else is trying to do it, but you can't do it.
Yeah. Michael Wilbon, who's a sage of sports, once said, if you don't want me scoring 77 points on you, stop me. And I feel the same way about any play that people come up with in the NFL. If it's within the rules and it works, then, and nobody else can seem to do it, then you figured it out. You've unlocked it. You should be rewarded for that, not punished for that. So I find that to be against the competitive nature of the game. So to me, don't outlaw it at all.
It's just it's people crying because it's not their team, basically.
Oh yeah, 100%. Right. And look, it's not like he's getting picked up and thrown over the top across the line. Like, my man is doing leg day hardcore so he can push with the lineman over that 1 yard line mark. So that he's doing the work to earn that touchdown. So he deserves love, for God's sakes.
Oh, one last thing.
Yeah, we said last question, but here we go though.
Oh Jesus. Well, not Miami. Don't tell.
Miami is already out.
I got a Messi jersey. They sent me a Lionel Messi jersey. Apple TV. I did thank it, Apple TV.
Oh yeah.
To celebrate the Lionel Messi series that's on Apple TV, which is really great. And they didn't even make the fucking playoffs for all that hype and all that hoopla. They didn't even make the playoffs. So I don't know who I've got, to be honest with you. My DC United didn't make it. So I'm not sure who I got. Maybe
I think Sporting KC. They were playing match.
You don't even know who plays.
They topped the number one team. They topped the number one team. And they're causing a ruckus, man.
Josh, they start 11 guys. I know that. They start 11 guys
to say his bullshit on here. He doesn't.
I know what offsides is.
Any of the starting players on Sporting. He probably thinks
I don't give a shit about the players, bud. I look at the stats.
He probably thinks Brecky still plays for Sporting KC, for God's sakes.
I don't sprechen see Deutsch. Okay, man.
I picked the Red Bulls to win it because Thierry Henry once played for him like a decade ago. That's the only reason I picked them, and they lost the first round. So that's true.
Right. Yeah. Well, you guys can leave your thoughts and comments in the chat below. John, thank you so much, man.
Thank you guys.
Johnny Russell, the Irish guy, man, he's cool as shit.
Yeah,
but Johnny Russell. Go ahead and kind of let us know where you can follow. And stalk you, man.
Yeah, if you can follow me at The Ruckus Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Whenever, but I'm I'm about to reawaken my Twitch account. So come and follow me there because I've got the new Spider-Man game and I'm going to play it. And, you know, Yuri Lowenthal and I used to co-host a couple of podcasts together. So I may convince him to like do a video where he's coaching me as I play the game, which would be a lot of fun. But he's super busy now. We'll see if he's got time to do that. But yeah, follow me on Twitch over there. And of course, my channel, the Outlaw Nation channel, which is youtube.com/John Ruckus says, come and follow me there for all the stuff I got going. And thanks, gentlemen, for having me on the show. I'll probably not win a game now the rest of the damn season, but it was fun hanging out with you two for sure. And it's been a blast playing everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so good to have you on here. And I'll leave us out with my reaction to you actually.
No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
Yeah. That's it, man.
That's it.
Have a good
guys. Peace.
Peace. Yeah, but hey, Josh, a good one, man. Another good one.
Great.
Yeah. The bangers just keep coming, man. So I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you all that joined us. You guys can definitely join the Ruckus at patreon.com/RuckusEV. You can follow us at Ruckus EV Everything, and we are on Twitch and YouTube currently and for the foregoing future, even through the holiday season. And then you can also support us by going to streamlabs.com/RuckusEV/tips. For Josh and Soul in the background, killing it as always, I'm Tvshka. We'll see y'all. Peace.